There are so many people who fight the evolution of their homes, but to me, that's where the real magic is. When I was 12, I probably still liked Barbies actually. When I was 4, I liked My Little Pony. And when I'm 40, I like different things than I did when I was 20, first starting out on my adventure of decorating my home. A lot of people get stuck in these ruts where they feel like they're supposed to decorate with the exact same thing they've always decorated with. And some people get downright cranky about it. But for me, it's the joy of being able to create a home is evolving, trying something new and becoming this new version of myself. So today I wanted to chat with you guys about some things that I have stopped decorating with. And sometimes I get nostalgic and I think, oh, that was really nice. And I think, oh, I should go do that again. And then I don't. So I think maybe sometimes we just evolve, our style changes a bit and we just want new things. So today I'll share with you the things that I'm not decorating with anymore, but the things that I'm decorating with instead, because that actually gets me super excited. So I hope you hit subscribe if you haven't already, because this channel is growing and we love to be able to share our tips and tricks on how you can create your most beautiful home around you. So hopefully you'll love that. Hit subscribe and let's jump in. First one is typewriters. If you could understand the level of obsession that I had previously with typewriters, you would understand that I am a person who's always a bit obsessive about what I put into my home. I want to love it. I want to eat, sleep, and drink these items, right? Like I just want to just look at them and admire them and and right now, typewriters, just not into them. Vintage typewriters are so much fun to look for in flea markets, the hunt of looking for them across Europe. What a thrill. I loved it. I loved it. I loved decorating my home with them. But that was almost 15 years ago. So instead of decorating with typewriters now, I decorate with beautiful sculptural vases. I prefer something that's a little bit smoother. I prefer something that's a little bit more sleek and something that has just almost like a handmade feel. Like this one here has this gorgeous opening on the top. And I love typewriters, but I love this more. Okay, so I'm willing to pass forward the typewriter. The truth is that I hope someone else still loves typewriters and someone else loves the obsession of them, because I don't want them to go into the trash. That's why I donated them rather than putting them in the trash bin, right? Like I just want something new and I want something different. So the next thing that I don't decorate with anymore is actually vintage cameras. That's a whole category that I really loved decorating with. I really loved having vintage cameras everywhere. Jack and I were I wouldn't say we were always obsessed with cameras, but we kind of always were actually. For quite some time early on in our marriage, we both became quite obsessed with taking photos. And I mean, that probably shouldn't surprise you, because still to this day, we take all of our own photos for our blog, for our Instagram, for the pictures that you guys see. We do all of our own video. We do all of our own pictures. We really love photos. We love being photographers. That's how I actually got into design, was as a stylist and photographer. I was working in real estate and helping style the homes and taking the photos for the website. And so because of that, then I really got into decor and I started to love it even more. And over 10 years later, here we are. So I just love cameras. I just don't want to look at them, right? Like I don't want old vintage cameras in my house. But what I like instead is something that's like, I've moved from vintage to ancient. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So oh my goodness, I can barely hold this thing. It's so heavy, but this is what I love instead. I love things that are ancient. I love something that looks like it's been plucked out of an ancient ruin. Instead of vintage, it's ancient things. So a sphere like this, I gotta set it down. The ones laying on the floor back here, nowhere near as heavy. So I like to shop in garden shops for those kind of like concrete spheres and things like that. I've got this incredible vase sitting here that looks like it could have literally from a dig in Italy or something. Like it's like this water jug or something. I absolutely love these things. And so I've just moved on from some of those other things that have, they're too new. I want something older, right? The other thing that I've stopped decorating with, and I've really struggled with the emotional side of it. I am so excited to share one of our family's biggest obsessions, and that is Aquasana. Aquasana believes that clean water and a healthy environment are the most important components of healthy living and overall well-being. Their sole focus is providing best-in-class water filtration products so every home can enjoy great tasting, healthy water. Aquasana offers filtration systems that provide maximum contaminant reduction while leaving beneficial minerals like potassium and calcium and magnesium in the water. Aquasana uses award-winning filtration technology that's designed by expert engineers and inspired by you. We absolutely love our countertop filtration machine because literally with one press of a button, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is so amazing because it takes about 8 seconds to get 8 ounces of clean filtered water. This is gonna deliver clean water to you 5 times faster than those leading pitcher filters, you know what I'm talking about, and it takes out 15 times more contaminants while still leaving the beneficial minerals in like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. And did I mention it tastes delicious? It is absolutely incredible. It's so easy. You just literally fill the water section over here. The countertop version is absolutely amazing. Aquasana has options that can go under your sink, but the countertop option for us is just so quick and convenient. This is actually our second one because the first one is actually downstairs in Jack's office area because he loves it because there's no sink down there. And so he's able to get really amazing, yummy, clean, filtered water downstairs without even having to get up from his chair. For us, this is just a total win. It just ticks so many boxes for us that we just absolutely love it. So if you guys are ready to start drinking cleaner, healthier water, scan my QR code on the screen or click the link down in my description. That's gonna get you 55% off of all systems, $49 and up, plus free shipping. We love it. It truly is extraordinary. I think you will as well. I'll leave all the details linked down below for you in the description box. Cheers. Maybe none of you struggle with this. When we moved back here to the US, one of the things that I was decorating with a lot in the beginning and I was really pumped and excited about was actually vintage furniture, and particularly anything that felt a little bit kind of Victorian, that felt a little neoclassical. I was obsessed with that stuff. And I loved going to the flea markets. I loved going to the antique markets. I would go anywhere looking for that furniture. And to this day, I still really love that furniture. But when you're trying to discover your personal style, and when you have one home to decorate at a time, you have to ask yourself these simple questions. What do I love the most? Because my problem is that I love most things, and it's torture for me trying to pick. And a lot of people think that I've moved on completely from like French country style. But as I've said in other videos, what my real obsession has actually become is this ancient thing. And so for me, like really rustic wood is what I really like. Something that's really ancient wood. I love stuff like that. Kind of goes with the whole ancient vessels, right? But I also really like wood that isn't quite so rustic either. So like the bookcases that I have in my house, I have thought, I saved up for so long to get them. And at the very last minute, I didn't go with the ones that had that French country look to them. I went with these that were a little bit more modern. And I genuinely love what I purchased. The way I was able to decide was just to ask myself, what do you want the most? If you can only have one, if you can only have one, what's the one you're gonna want the rest of your life? And so for me, I have found like my dressers in my bedrooms, my bookcase, my dining table, a lot of these pieces, they don't have that vintage look to them and they aren't actually vintage. I just wanted something a little bit more modern, something that still had a rusticness to it, but also had something that was a little bit clean lined. Another thing that I don't decorate with, we're noticing a theme here, and that is the old trunks. I have to be honest with you, I didn't get rid of them. I still love the old trunks. I still see how they could easily fit into a modern home. The problem with the trunks is that a lot of times they don't really make good coffee tables because they're usually a little bit too high. And I've used them for like TV, like underneath the TV, right, like a media cabinet kind of deal, and put the TV on them. Well, that doesn't work very well if you want to actually put something inside of it and actually get to it. So a lot of the reason I don't decorate with the vintage trunks is that they're just not very practical. If you've got like a random hallway or somewhere like in your house, and I know you guys do, right? You got like a hallway that's got a little spot and you can put some long-term storage items in it. Trunks can be a good idea. Mine is currently sitting downstairs in my basement and it's housing some toys that the kids are kind of over, but I want to hold on to so that maybe one day that we maybe have grandkids, then I'll have all their Hot Wheels tracks and things and we could pull them back out and build together, and it'll be their, you know, their dad's stuff or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things I am sentimental about and a little bit attached to. The trunk is one of them, and clearly the Hot Wheels toys. But you get to decide what it is that you love the most, and sometimes you don't have to get rid of them either. You can maybe just put them down in your basement, put them in long-term storage and hold on to them. But for me, most of the items I have moved on from and let somebody else enjoy them. I would rather someone else enjoy them than for them just to be, you know, gathering dust in the basement. So that's just me. Let me know how you guys feel about the things that you've moved on from. Step ladders as tables. Wow. I think I maybe did that one time and I was like, yeah, you know, it just feels a little bit too cheesy, doesn't feel quite right to me. I just think it just looks a little too pieced together. I would rather personally, if I don't have the money for a nice side table, I'd just rather have a big pile of books. Just pile up the books, right? There's so many nice pieces of furniture out there and you can definitely thrift them, go to Facebook Marketplace. There's no reason why, right? If you're working on a budget, you can't find some really nice side tables. I think it's just better to have something that's a little bit more pristine than a stepladder. It just feels a little bit, I don't know, like cheesy and corny, and I don't know, it's just too much for me. I'd just rather have a side table, and if I can't do the side table at all, I'd just rather have a stack of books. But even the stack of books is something I used to do, and I really don't do that as much. I've just learned my own style, which is that I really like to have a little bit more pristine space, things to feel a little bit more cohesive and pulled together, and I don't want it to feel like I pulled my stuff out of like my stepladder. I don't even think I have a picture of it, but it was literally just covered in paint. It was just a hand-me-down from somebody, and it made the room look kind of dirty and dingy. So to me, it's like, nah, let's just find something else to make a side table out of, or just go without one altogether, right? You can just have a coffee table and no side tables. But I think a stepladder being used as furniture just in general, it just looks a little silly to me. And I think it's just something that most of us probably could just pass on. I doubt many of us will have hard feelings over that one. So yeah, let's just pass. There's something that I definitely moved on from, and there's no go backsies on this one for me. And that is vintage wicker furniture. Particularly what I'm really talking about is Mom's peacock chair. There was a time when Domino magazine made them look and feel like it was the best thing that had ever happened in all of mankind, and I couldn't wait to move back to the US and ask my mom for her vintage peacock chair. It did come into this house, actually. It did. It took a brief spin in here. I think it was actually mostly in the apartment that we had while we were waiting to get a house after we'd moved back from being overseas. If you're just tuning in, we lived abroad for 12 years with our kids and moved back here with them about 8 years ago. Bought this house and have been renovating it. So the wicker chair thing, I really just don't get it. It's just not my thing. It's just way too boho, and it's uncomfortable. Does anybody else why do we have these uncomfortable chairs? Why are we keeping these? My mom kept hers for literally I don't know, it was 40 years or something. And I'm like, I can't wait to go get this chair. And then I'm like, oh, it's uncomfortable. I'd much rather have a nice, comfortable side chair, something a little bit more sculptural, something a little bit more modern, something, I don't know, like black boucle, velvet, there's other chairs I'd rather have. So I'd rather almost not have a chair at all. I think I'm gonna say that. I think I'd rather just not have a side chair. It is one thing if it's the only thing that you have to sit on, which is what it was for us when we first moved into that apartment. We had nothing to sit on, and I guess it was better than nothing. I don't know, it was pretty uncomfortable. We just went and sat on the bed instead, or the mattress on the floor. So I feel like I can say it with pretty much, yeah, some pretty good honesty here. I just don't think that those are a good idea, and I don't know why you would do them, but if you're super attached to yours, I'm not coming to take it, but I don't love them. The main point to remember here is that it is a journey, and very few people wake up one day and can have it all. There's a journey that maybe you don't know about, right? And everyone is on a different path. And the main thing is to really create a space around you that you really love. It's full of the things that matter to you. It's full of the things that make you tick. It's things that bring you joy. And it represents your life and the life you're living now and the life you hope to live in the coming years. So I know we got a little bit deep today, but I just felt like I just needed to make this video. I created a little Instagram reel the other day about the things that I'm obsessed with, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So thank you so much for joining me. Please hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.